Hi guys. So everyone's talking about how ChatGPT has been solving medical examinations question answers and even solving all of the questions required to land a job at Google. But none of that is relevant to you, is it? I mean, not unless it helps you land a job in the UK, right? But that's exactly what we're talking about today, how you can use ChatGPT to land a job in the UK. If that interests you, remember to watch all the way till the end. So ChatGPT took the world by storm a couple of months ago. And since then, there have been other competitors that have launched their own products. And to be really honest, I haven't tried any of the other competition's products, but I have tried ChatGPT and its results have pretty honestly blown me away. For those of you who have no idea what ChatGPT is, it's basically a tool that helps you have a conversation with the chatbot, and it helps you generate images, content, any information that you require, even code based on your conversation with the chatbot. Now, it might seem a little similar to Google, but here's the thing. If you ask Google something, it basically ranks or lists out a set of websites which already have information on these websites. And then you have to go and read from one of these websites and look for the information you're looking for. What ChatGPT does, it basically pulls the information from wherever and gives it to you right there. So you don't have to sit and scroll through pages looking for that info anymore. Since ChatGPT was announced, Microsoft has announced its own AI-powered tool, which is a Bing-powered search engine. And Google has introduced the Bard, but right now both of them are not really available for public consumption, at least not to me. So today we're trying out just ChatGPT. So in today's video, like I said, we'll be focusing on how ChatGPT can help you land that job in the UK. And with that, let's dive in. So for starters, let me show you what it looks like, because unless you know what it looks like, it might be a little difficult to imagine what I'm talking about. So first off, let's go out there. So for starters, you head over to Google, you type this out in your search engine and you hit enter, and I will link this in the description below as well. And it takes you to the ChatGPT page. Now you have to log in here. I've already logged in to save us some time, so let's switch over to that window. And once you log in for the first time, this is what you're going to see. Now, there are a set of do's and don'ts and what it's capable of over here, but the main thing that you should remember is that you should treat it as a chatbot. It's not a human. So the more information you provide it with, the more targeted your responses are going to be. If you give it a very open-ended question, your response will be extremely open-ended. If you make it as specific as possible, your response will be as specific as possible. Let's start off with something as simple as tell me about Maidenhead. And if you type that out, like you can see, it's going to throw you an extremely general response, which you could honestly just find on Google. If you went to Wiki, that would be the first thing that it showed you anyway, right? But this is the problem. This is what happens when you write out something extremely generic. You get generic responses. Let's try something a little more targeted. Now, because Valentine's Day is around the corner, let's try this. What can I gift my wife for Valentine's Day, knowing that my wife does not like chocolates and flowers? And here you go. I hope my husband is watching this video for the record. But like you can see, it's going to give you an extremely articulate response based on the fact that I don't like chocolates. So if I hadn't mentioned that I didn't like chocolates and I didn't like flowers, obviously the first response would have been that. But now I've already told the chatbot that I don't like either of these two. So it's going to take out those two responses and then give me an appropriate response. But we're here to talk about the UK. So let's stick to that. Assume you want to know where you should look for jobs in the UK. So let's try asking the chatbot that. Let's type out where should I look for jobs in the UK and see what it throws up. Now be prepared to be mildly impressed, because like you can see, it's given you most of the appropriate responses. It's slightly top level, but that's okay. It's in the right direction. So it's going to give you like one or two portals, but even then, that's a really good starting point. Now, another thing you should keep in mind is that most of the information that is available via ChatGPT is information that was collated prior to 2021. So if you're asking it something extremely relevant right now, the information might not be 100% accurate. So let me give you an example. If I type out, how do I get a work visa to work in the UK? This is what it's going to show me. Now, like you can see, it's showing you slightly outdated information because it's talking about tier 1 and tier 5 and tier 2. And like you know, they don't go by those names anymore. It's now the skilled worker visa, the global mobility visa, the charity worker visa. So this information is slightly outdated. It's in the right place, it's in the right format, but it's slightly outdated, and that's something you should bear in mind. If you do want the most accurate information post 2021 and something which is time bound or time specific, I would still suggest you use Google. Another example, if you ask the chatbot to tell you more about the Young Professionals Scheme, which we know is launching soon, and you type that out, Like you can see, it doesn't really know. So again, don't ask it anything about current affairs. Before we move ahead, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comment section below if you think this video has helped you. Now, let's get to what it can actually do for you and how it can actually help you land that job in the UK. What it can do is help you make your CV. Now, assume I am a project manager and I have 3 years of work experience and I want ChatGPT to help me make my resume. All I need to do is help me make my resume for a project manager with 3 years experience. Let's type that out. Now, like you can see, it's giving you a really realistic picture, and what you can do is just copy all of this and put it in an existing template that you already have. If you don't have a template, we'll come to that in a bit. And there's no limitation on who can actually use this. So if you are a fresher, you can still write out that you are a fresher and you require a resume, it will help you. If you have 1 year, 2 years experience, whatever it is, ChatGPT will help you create a resume irrespective of what your background is, because it does not discriminate in any way. Its job is to pull information from all over the web and present that information to you. So irrespective of how many years you have worked for, what you have worked as, or whether you've even worked at all, give it a shot and see what responses it gives you. Now, in case you're struggling with this and you feel it's not giving you an ideal response, you can write to me in the comment section below and I will try and use the tool and pull whatever I can to try and help you out. So remember, give it a shot yourself first, and if it doesn't help you with what you want, just reach out to me. Of course, no inappropriate questions like you saw on the opening screen, because it's trained not to respond to those. Now, you've seen it can already populate whatever you need for your CV, but what if you're looking at skill sets? Now, assume I'm a social media manager and I don't know what to mention as my skill sets in my resume. So what I can do is tell me the skill sets of a social media manager. But like you can see, as you type this out, it's giving you very verbose responses and it's a very long format. And to be really honest, you can't put this in your CV. You know, it will become too long. So again, it needs to be a more targeted question. So instead, if I write, tell me the skills for a social media manager for a resume, it's now going to give me a very concise version of what I need. And I can quite honestly copy and paste this if this is all work I've already done and just put it straight away in my resume. So what you type in is what you get as your output. So you have to be really, really clear with what you're writing. Now, if I say, give me the opening statement for a social media manager, by logic, now the chat bot already knows that we're using this for a resume, because that's where you would use an opening statement. So it's going to give you something pretty concise so you can use this straight away. So like you can see, you have everything you need now to make that perfect CV. It's even giving you blanks, it's giving you slots to fill in whatever you want. You can add what you want, you can delete what you want. You don't have to do the hard work anymore because the chatbot is doing it all for you. So now you've got your resume, you've got your opening statement. What do you need next? Your cover letter. And the best part is you can use ChatGPT to make your cover letter as well. It's going to write the whole thing out for you. So go ahead and just type, give me the cover letter for a social media manager with 3 years experience, and here you go. Now, it's given you a cover letter and that's great, but the only challenge is, like you can see, it's a really long cover letter. And if I were a hiring manager, I don't think I would have either the time or the patience to go through something this lengthy. So what you need to understand is that it might have the information you're looking for, ChatGPT, but it might not be in the most appropriate format. So now you have to use all of the knowledge you have accumulated either by watching videos, watching my own videos, reading up on the internet, because you know your cover letter needs to be concise. So you need to shorten this whole thing down. What I would suggest is you take all the meat from here, the most important parts, and you shorten it and just put not more than 2 paragraphs, because you know from all the videos I've made in the past as well, your cover letter can't be longer than 2 paragraphs. No one's really going to read it, right? So just take the important parts from here and cut out all of the rest. Now, you might also be wondering if ChatGPT can help you with the design or the template of your resume or your format or your cover letter. Now, here's the problem. ChatGPT is a text-based tool, so it cannot help you with the format. But the good thing is if you try writing it out, it will tell you where you can look instead. So either you can look for templates via Google, or you can just go to Canva and use one of the templates from there. Bottom line is it will direct you in the right direction. Now, I'm betting you're really excited and you can't wait to get started, so I won't keep you for too long. It's just one more point that you need to remember. ChatGPT will give you all of the information you need to build your CV. Is it placed in the most appropriate format? Is it the best way to present information? Is it the best way to present your information? Quite possibly not, which is why it's really important for you to know what an ideal CV for the UK needs to look like and what an ideal cover letter for the UK needs to look like. And if you need help with that, I very strongly suggest you watch these videos, take all the information you get from ChatGPT and organize it based on what these videos say.